Hey everybody, welcome to Sokko's Tech Spot. In this video, we're going to check out the GameCube controller that Nintendo has been putting out for the Nintendo Switch. They call it the Battlepad, but let's be honest, it's a GameCube controller. So here's the box for it. This is the Pikachu edition. It has cool graphics on it. Here's a little bit of a info for you if you want to pause and take a look. But let's just get on with it. Here it is, nothing much in the box, it's just the controller really. And the cool thing is, it plugs in via USB. So you could plug it into your PC as well, which I did, but Windows 7 recognized it as just a Hori-esque controller, so I'm guessing this is just one of their generic controllers with a GameCube shell on it. And you can program it, and I did play it with the Dolphin emulator, works just fine. So yeah, it's kind of a two-in-one if you do emulation for GameCube games on PC. So we're gonna go ahead and compare it with the original GameCube controller. I got a platinum one here, and I'll just do a rundown of what I found to be different between the two. So let's start off with the feel. Now the feel, this is a much lighter controller. When I picked it up, it was surprisingly light, and that's basically because it has no rumble feature. There's no rumble motors at all. You can see right through it. It's pretty cool that you can see right through it, but it does expose the fact there's no rumble feature, so it makes it much lighter, makes it feel a little cheap. Number two, has this weird grip. Let me see if I could focus in on that. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it has this textured effect. I'm not a big fan of it. I do prefer the smooth original Nintendo GameCube controller feel. So I don't know, take that for what it's worth. You might like it. It's less slippery if your hands get sweaty, I guess, in the midst of battle in Super Smash Bros. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. So that's right off the bat. It's lighter and it has that textured feel. Those are two very obvious things. Another obvious thing, it doesn't have a second button here on the original. They added the ZL and ZR, so it still functions for pretty much all the newer games on the Nintendo Switch. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. The buttons are where you would think they are. The only other differences are these have a bit more of a curve to have your fingers settle in there. These, not so much. There's a bit of a dip, but it doesn't sit as well on these. I kind of like it because it allows you to switch easily, much more easily than these. All right, so how do the buttons themselves feel? Different. They're very different than the original. So the joystick, it looks like they use the same joystick, but this feels a little different. I think it's the shell casing maybe is a little thicker or makes it a little higher. I'm not sure if you could see the difference in the edge here. It does have a bigger edge, so it does feel like it's higher up. It's not a huge deal, but there's that. Also, if you just heard I pushed down the button, this doesn't have a push down. So maybe that's why it has to be a little higher to accommodate for the button. I'm not sure. It does feel slightly different than the original. So this one, it's a little lower. It's not drastically lower, but you could definitely feel it. The D-pad, not much of a difference. D-pad does also feel a little higher up. The buttons themselves feel a little squishier on the original GameCube controller. I personally like the squishier feel, so if you could hear that. Yeah, so you could hear that this actually gives you a click, and you could feel the click as well. And that's all these buttons over here on this side. The middle button, it doesn't really matter because this is for the Switch and you're not going to really be using these all that often, I suppose, when you're playing. But these are the rubbery, squishy buttons that are pretty prominent in cheaper controllers. So not a big deal. You could feel a click, but they are super squishy. This one is also squishy, but less of a click. Not a big deal. It's the middle buttons, so not huge there. The C-stick, it looks like it's pretty much the same C-stick. Tension is good. This one is kind of wobbly, the original one, but that's probably just due to being older. This is not wobbly whatsoever. If you want to take a quick look at it, not much of a difference there at all, to be honest. I think my biggest complaint would be that the joystick feels a little higher up and the buttons feel vastly different. I'm not sure how it would affect gameplay, if at all, if you're used to the original GameCube controller and this is all you play on for Super Smash Bros. This might affect you a little bit. The R button and the L button, it's not analog anymore, so this one there's analog and then you get a click. This one is just a click. There's no analog. But I mean, it's not terrible. The lightness bothers me the most. I mean, I guess you could open it up and put weights if you really get bothered by that sort of thing, but I'm not going to. There you go. That's a quick comparison between the new Battlepad, aka GameCube controller for the Nintendo Switch. Probably have to test it out when the game comes out to see if there's really big interference with gameplay. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video, hope it helped, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.